everybody that has interaction with anybody in the church needs to know how to sit with somebody else in pain.
I am not going to have all the answers, but I can listen to you. All of us have been called to be a friend.
Well, we have our friend Shaunti Feldhahn.
I am so
Back in the
happy.
studio.
Why do I just smile when Shaunti's in the room with me?
I don't know.
Because
You've been
I
talking
love
about
her.
this for a
That's the way
month.
I feel about you guys.
Oh, what else are you going to say right now, Shaunti? You
That's
sort of have
awesome.
to.
We do love you, Shaunti, because not only are you a good friend, but you have really impacted us with all of your work.
You're so kind.
And you have someone with you today.
I do. One of my favorite people in the world, but I'll let you guys introduce Jim.
Well, we don't know as much about Jim as you do.
Okay.
Jim Sells is with us, and we just heard he's like he's on the...
He's a big deal.
He's
a big
He's
deal.
on Mount
in the room.
Rushmore in
I
the...
owe a lot of people money. So that's why they keep in relationship with me.
Well, I don't want you to tell us how big a deal you are.
Yes,
Shaunti,
no,
tell us.
Yeah. So which I know we'll explain, when we started talking about writing this book together, I was like, oh my gosh, is Dr. Jim Sells wanting to write a book with me? Like, I was like fangirling.
Did he reach out to you?
We had been working on this project, which we'll be explaining in a minute. We've been working on this project. He was like, I think that there's an important book here for the Christian audience. And he's like, how would you like to maybe work on that together? I'm like, are you kidding? So, because Jim, Dr. Sells, sorry,
Just
you
Jim.
know.
Oh, we got to call him doctor?
No, we
please
don't
don't.
need.
No.
We don't need to call him Dr.
I
Sells.
just require my adult children to call me doctor. It just
Oh, that's
doesn't.
good.
It
Good
doesn't
idea.
go very
Hey,
well.
I don't think
Shaunti,
so.
are we going to call you doctor yet?
Yeah, almost,
Soon,
almost.
very soon, yes. But Jim is the head of the Karis Institute at Regent, co-head of the Karis Institute at Regent University, which is also where I'm getting my PhD, and a tenured professor and the head of the Church Cares Initiative, which we want to talk about today. And he has just been a long time thought leader in the academic space around psychology, marriage, family therapy, etc. Like, just one of the leading, he writes all the textbooks. I think I had 3 of your textbooks in my last couple
Jim,
classes.
do we need to get your autograph too?
I think
this
we
is kind of
do.
a big deal.
He's like in the NFL Hall of Fame in
pumping it
this
up.
area.
Yeah, thank you.
is.
That's big time.
Academic-wise.
All right,
yes.
here's where I'm going. First
right.
question. Who are the people walking in our churches today based on your studies?
Wow, you're just going right
You're
there right
going
now.
there.
Right
I want to talk about Shaunti and her impact on our lives.
I know.
Okay.
We can get
I guess
to
we
that.
won't go there now.
Do you
No.
want to say that?
Okay.
Because that is a pretty big
No,
deal.
I will say this about Shaunti, because a lot of our viewers and listeners, and I hope you're watching, not just
Me too.
listening. And some of you are like, you can watch this, on YouTube, and you get to see this bald head. 2 bald heads today in the
Together.
studio.
Together.
Exactly.
No, it's really funny. Harvard-trained researcher, and I love your books because they're based on research. So
Speaking
it isn't
of
just some
Shaunti.
guy's opinion or even just scripture. Scripture is confirming what research says. So here's what's really funny. When For Women Only came out,
Yeah.
right? I don't know what year.
It was, the original edition was back in 2004. Can you believe it's been that long?
That sounds right.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is about right.
So somebody gave it to Anne. Anne didn't even get it, and said, "I just heard Shaunti on this show. You got to read this book." Anne hasn't read it yet. I see it laying on our kitchen hutch. I walk in
For
the kitchen.
women only.
For women
Yes.
only, understanding the private lives of your man, or something like that, right? Subtitle. And I'm like, what is this? Anne's like, yeah, I don't know. Michelle said I should read it. I'm like, oh, really? So the next day I open it up. I read the whole thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I remember walking into the kitchen that night and I go, you read this book now. She's like, what? Read it now. This explains me. You got to, it was so helpful.
Oh, I'm so
I-
glad.
For men only, for women only, for parents only. Best thing I've ever read about teenage parenting.
Oh,
ever.
thanks.
And we wrote a book on parenting. It's a million times better than our book.
I think your book was the beginning of a journey for us, Shaunti, that really saved us in a lot of ways.
Wow.
And
That's a
the
kind
book that
thing to
we just
say.
had released, How to Speak Life to Your Husband When All You Want to Do Is Yell at Him.
Which is the best title ever, by the way. Just so you know, when you asked me to endorse it, I'm like, I can't wait to read it. Not just because I helped you get it to your publisher that day when you're like, wait, we didn't send it in a deadline.
That's right.
But because the title is,
But
amazing.
even your book impacted that writing because it was that beginning of a new journey of
I'm glad to hear that.
my words
totally
have to be spoken in a way that resonates with Dave and motivates him.
Well, it's not like you have to do anything differently. It's just like, well, do you want a good relationship where you speak life into each other?
Yes.
Like, then yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all that to bring us back to, what was your question?
My question was,
I don't even remember what she
based on
said.
your research, because you've researched this, who is walking into the doors of our churches today?
People who don't know anything about how Christianity works based on a Sunday school knowledge and growing up with a biblical culture back in their brains. They're coming with pain. And they're showing up with, can someone here help me?
Now,
even if they don't look like it.
Yeah.
Even if they don't look like it.
Yeah, they're
even if
cleaned up.
They want the family, Sunday best, white picket fence, whatever. But inside,
so
there's an immense amount of
Well, I
need.
mean, as a pastor, I've always known that. But is it uniquely different today?
I think
than
there is
50
some
years
unique
ago?
differences. And Shaunti has heard this story. It's really how the Church Cares Initiative got launched. I'm driving in Anderson County, South Carolina, dropped my son off at Clemson for a soccer training. And I got the day and I got a tank of gas. So I'm just driving around and I'm driving down this rural highway past a Baptist church. Looks like every other Baptist church in the country and out in the farmlands of America. Brick, white steeple, seats 150 people. We all see it. On the marquee no longer says services at 9:30 or Sunday school at 9:30, worship service at 11, prayer meeting Wednesday night at 7.
Doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that.
Oh.
It says family counsel available. And I stop my truck and I just look at it for a few minutes because out in the middle of rural America with cars zipping by on this rural highway, that church, somebody in that church said, what's the best way we can invite people to our church? It's no longer potluck and then softball game to beat the Methodists. It's like, it was none of that choir practice 6:00 on Thursday. It's your family hurts, come here. And I have no idea how trained they were or any of those things, but somebody said that's the message for this county, this community, this church.
And that's the reality all over the country, really all over the world, is for the last couple of years, Jim and I have been doing research on this and really interviewing, like we've interviewed and surveyed more than 2,000 pastors of all streams of the church, pastors, church leaders, some clinicians, in order to just say, what's going on out there? What are you seeing? And right now what we're seeing is that the folks walking into the average church, I mean, some things may be going great in their lives, but there are areas of pain that everybody carries. And like today, just an example, before the pandemic, and mental health issues, emotional health issues were a big issue. There's been issues forever. But as an example, when you look at the government statistics and what percentage of people have an anxiety disorder, right? Like are diagnosed. Before the pandemic, the year before, the number was 8.1%.
Of what?
Of people in the country were diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. That was 8.1. If you look at this, and it was like it had it within the last 3 months or something, like I can't remember what the parameters were, but dealing with it currently in a significant way right now. And during the pandemic, that number went to 41%.
Wow.
So apples to apples, same data set, right? And today it's 28.7.
So it's still high.
It's still very, very high. And unfortunately, what has happened in that time and for years is you have so many more people coming into the pastor, coming into the care team, coming, can you help me? And the reality is everybody has a heart to want to help one another, want to help these folks who are dealing with whatever marriage issues, trauma, whatever the thing is. And yet there's only so many pastors, right? Like there's only so many clinicians that you can refer somebody to.
And I was a pastor. I am a pastor.
You are a pastor.
We're not trained.
Yeah.
Well, I can
We
just
feel
say,
ill-equipped to deal with a significant mental health crisis.
Yeah.
but Dave,
We're going to refer out.
at least we went to seminary and we
Right.
had some classes
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
what to do. But I was just thinking, as I was reading through your book, I recalled the teenage girl that called me and said, "I'm cutting." And it's life-threatening now. And
Yeah.
she's so riddled with depression. I have another mom called me and say, "My daughter just told me she's gay. Can you meet with her?" I had another woman, as we were recording in here, leave me a message to say, "I'm taking my life. By the time you hear this, I'll be gone."
We
And
had to stop the recording, and Ann had to call professionals.
please.
Yeah.
Like, get the police over there now.
But I think you're right. This is going on. It's like a silent epidemic.
Yeah.
And we don't know what to do with it, even as church leaders. And so you guys are passionate about that too.
Yeah. And that epidemic, because of someone has kind of come to our church, they're not churched.
Right.
They all they have is this thing in front of me is like a big emotional cloud of static. I can't see through it.
I can't get around it.
And I don't know what to do with it. Can somebody here help me?
Hmm.
But let's switch gears a little bit, because that tends to label that few, that 25%, and then the rest of us are just healthy folks. Not quite true.
Not quite.
Why are we all laughing?
Yes, exactly.
So probably the biggest nut we haven't cracked yet is how people in the church who know they have pain, but don't know how to access help within the church to address their pain. So we have a lot of people who are willing to be helpers, but fewer of them are recognizing, but I need help at the same time.
I need answers.
Yeah. And then you could do both to some
Yes,
degree.
I can be a helper and a helpee simultaneously.
Like
Yeah.
that people in the church, that us, all of us, the
All
body
of our
Christ,
listeners.
can be an answer to this.
Yes.
It is telling. One of the interviews I did was with, and I'll keep him anonymous. He's like, please keep me anonymous, I'm sure. But one of the interviews was with one of the folks Jeff and I, my husband and I, had spoken at their church a number of years ago, had done a marriage event. And so we had known them. He was the care pastor, basically. And so I said, Kay, can I interview, this is early on, can I interview you? We're trying to get a handle on what the experience is around mental health in the church today. Like, what is it that you see as a pastor? And so I said, when someone comes down to get prayer on Sunday morning after the service, like, how do you refer them to different groups in the church? He's like, well, if it's youth, they'll go to pastor so-and-so. If it's marriage, they'll be referred to me. And I said, okay, so imagine that somebody just has like really significant depression, or they have had trauma in their background and they don't know what to do or whatever. What's the process? And he literally pushed back from the table, like we were on Zoom, and he goes like this, and he pushes back and he's like, I kind of feel like you just told me, hey, pastor, there's somebody at the altar who's having a heart attack. Here's a scalpel. Go do something. I don't, like you said, I'm not trained.
Right.
I don't know.
We don't know what to do.
And imagine, and what we want people to imagine is today, those pastors, and the number is 88% of the pastors on our survey said they agreed or sort of agreed that the top job of the church when it's a mental health issue is to refer out to a professional, somebody who's trained, somebody who does have that specialty.
Yep.
And that's great. Jim is a clinical psychologist, right? He's trained Christian psychologist for many decades now. And so that's awesome. However, it's not right now. There just aren't enough clinicians. There aren't enough pastors to be able to help. And so imagine that person down front who's dealing with trauma, that you could say, you know what, maybe we'll talk with you. We're going to, try to get you into a clinician if you need that. But in the meantime, I'm so sorry you were sexually abused as a child and it's impacting you. We have a team of lay listeners who are able to come alongside. And I happen to know that Bonnie, that is part of her history, and she loves helping other women walk through that. And she's been trained in listening. So we're going to connect you with her, even while you're waiting, perhaps, to see a clinician. And it's like, imagine the load that would take off of the average pastor if there were teams of Bonnies and Bobs that could just walk alongside these people and have the ability to listen.
So how do we get there?
Well, and let me add too, like that Bonnie, if this woman goes to Bonnie who's walked through it and she's seeing some healing, that will light her on fire.
Yes.
Because she will feel like God can use me and my brokenness and my story to walk alongside this dear woman and just hear and listen. That changes her life as well. Yeah. What were you going to say, Dave?
Oh, no, I was going to say how do we get there. But, years ago, we started our church in 1990. The first year starting our church, at a service, probably 3 months in, I'm one of the founders. And I didn't tell my co-founder I was going to do this. But in my sermon, I don't remember what text I was teaching, but it fit. I shared a story of how I had struggled with porn and the journey about it. I remember I walk off the stage and Steve, my co-founder, literally before I stepped down the stairs, he looks at me and I thought I could be in trouble. Especially then, nobody ever, especially a pastor, 1990.
People weren't talking about
They
that.
were struggling. Nobody talked about it, so I'm going to talk about it.
Were you finding victory at that point?
Yeah, I was in victory, but I was like, I got to be honest, this was a struggle, and it was a struggle in our marriage. And I took enough time to say, this is real. I remember like Steve's looking up at me because I'm coming downstairs. I'm like, it could be the last day of us doing this church together. And I'll never forget, he looks right at me and he goes, you just changed this church. I go, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? He goes, this will never be a church where people come and hide their secrets. This is going to be a different place. And it was. Yeah. Well, here's what's really interesting. Sort of funny. I started having guys set up appointments to come and meet with me, and everyone
wanting to like, can you talk to me about this? Can you talk to me about this?
I'm saying this because of what you just said. Bonnie was sort of me. Yeah. I had a similar struggle to a lot of the men in our church who had never talked to anybody, and now they heard their pastor say something. So literally, my assistant, Debbie, who's still our assistant, she could tell you, I started getting all these calls. They want to meet with Dave. What about? Could we just have an hour? So they'd come in and they'd hem-hum around. And then I realized, I said, hey, are you struggling with? Yeah, I've never told anybody. We talk, right? What's really funny is this happened 10 or 15 times. Finally, our drummer comes in. And, we're new. So I'm in the band. So I know Bruce pretty well. And Bruce comes in and he said, and he's not bringing this up. And finally, after literally 10 minutes, I go, Bruce, I know why you're here. He goes, yeah, really? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah. He goes, why am I here? I go, you're struggling with porn. I've talked to 20 guys. We can talk about it. He goes, I'm not struggling with porn at all. I go, well, why are you here? He goes, I just gave my life to Christ. I thought you could help me grow. I was like, finally, a guy. But again, it's funny now. But when I think about it, it's like nobody had somebody in the church that they could journey like the Bonnies. Yeah. So how do we get to that? Yeah. Again, I don't want to get there now because we got to talk about the problem.
That's why we wrote the book.
Exactly.
That's our purpose.
The whole book is like a strategy that I know because I'm still in church world. There aren't very many churches doing this. Right. Mega, small, you name it, they're not doing it.
Well,
they're popping up all over the place.
They are. It's just that they don't know each other and they don't know that this is a model that works. Right. And every church handles it differently. That's the cool thing. Yeah. Like the body of Christ is so diverse.
That was probably one of the wonderful things we found in going to talk to pastors and interview and survey thousands.
More than 2,000, is
how many things are occurring here. Big church, small church, black church, Latino church, white church, Presbyterian church, charismatic church. They're all doing different things, usually that reflect their identity, reflect their theology, like a whole bunch of things. So we tried to take some best practices, put them in the book, and take the survey content, distill it down to just some principled thought about how you can go about doing it, and also link churches with not-for-profits and ministries that are ongoing right now that are doing really, really cool things, and then actually become one of those organizations that can help churches do it. Help churches put it all together.
Because one of the things that we see, because we are fans of the pastors. We're fans of the pastors and their wives, the co-pastor couple, the care pastor, the youth pastor, who are they care so much, and they are just right now trying to survive.
They're overwhelmed.
And really, truly feeling at least, the subset. And again, we had a pretty good base for the survey because we were pretty strict about, I am going to talk to every conceivable type of church that I could, put into the survey, Catholic, Protestant, the whole thing. But one of the things that was standard across the vast majority of these is that every one of them has the heart to try to help. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And they know that their counselors are full. We found one of the things that was really hard when the data came back. I showed Jim the graph because, I'm like, I could not wait to see the data. And this one graph just hit me between the eyes. And it said, when you refer somebody out, what percentage of them, like how long does it take them to see somebody? Is it a week? Is it 5 weeks? Is it 2 months? What is it? And 50% of the people taking the survey didn't know.
No idea.
Had no idea, which meant I'm referring out and that's the end of my and so we don't recognize that without intending to, because we've professionalized human care so much, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but we've professionalized it so much that we don't realize that without intending to, we've created a funnel out of the church for people who are hurting.
I mean, even right now in my church, if somebody comes up and I refer them, I tell them it'll be a month to 2 months before you'll get an appointment.
Yeah.
I am now referring most people to Deborah Fileta.
Yeah.
Online.
Right.
So she's got a whole team.
Telehealth.
Go to her website. You'll probably talk to somebody in the next couple of days.
But it can still take some time.
But it can still and there was a secret shopper study that was done of counseling clinics, telehealth options, whatever. Like people, hundreds and hundreds of clinics all over the country that offer telehealth because, that's the thing that everybody's going to now because they can't get in to see a counselor. And they found that the telehealth clinics were so overwhelmed that 20% of these secret shoppers didn't even get a call back.
20%.
20%. One out of every 5 people who's desperate and hurting, and they called 3 times. That was their process. And they couldn't even get a phone call back.
So you guys are saying, oh no, it's not that we need more trained psychologists or therapists.
Which would be great too.
Right. But you're saying, no, we don't necessarily want them to leave and never come back to our church.
We need to equip the body.
We need to equip the body.
We're saying all of those things and maybe a few things more. Like, I'm not seeking to undermine the mental health profession. I train people to do this profession, and I'd like to continue in that line of work. It's been very good to me and my family. But we've used the phrase, we don't refer out, we refer with, meaning the role of the church is to be a continual relationship with everybody that shows up. And you might need professional care. You might need medication. You might need an inpatient detoxification for addiction of substances. You might need some really complicated medical intervention, and you need the church. You need people showing up and being with you all the time.
That's discipleship.
Yes, it
is.
But it makes you teary.
It does.
Because
because I think we have. I'll shift. There's me as a psychologist shifting from my emotion side to my thinking side to control that. But I feel sad because I think much of what the church is supposed to do really, really well, we have, out of our own fear, jettisoned it to Jim the professional rather than Jim the discipler.
Yeah.
And that kind of splits down the middle of me with Jim the psychologist and Jim the pastor's son who grew up in the church and loves deep care of people.
Tell them about your grandmother.
Yeah, I'd say the best counselor I ever saw was my grandmother, Marie Catherine, who had an 8th grade education and a Bible and a coffee pot and a kitchen table. And a neighborhood in the south side of Chicago in which people would show up at her door. Like far more effective than I'll ever be in my whole life. So that's like, and that was pre-psychology, pre-profession. Like she knew how to
I'm
care
just
for
listening
people.
to that, Jim, thinking of our listeners, thinking, what does this have to do with me?
Yeah.
That right there.
Right there.
Like we're called as God's children to open our homes, to disciple. And I think we feel so overwhelmed and under-equipped. We don't know how to do that. But to open a door, to say, come to my house, let's just have a cup of coffee.
And to say, you don't have to know the answers, right? To be able to say, like, I was talking to Jim this morning about the fact that I'm about to get my PhD in counseling and psychological studies.
Shaunti.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Dr. Feldhahn.
Yeah, that's going to be weird. Anyway, just stop because it's just a weird thing.
That.
Anyway, but it's a non-licensure PhD. It's leadership. It's research, right? But it is partly I chose that route because I am not a counselor. Like I'm studying counseling and psychology, but I'm not necessarily, I don't have I don't have clients. I don't, I study and talk to a lot of people, but one of the things that everybody has to reckon with is that all of us have been called to be a friend and that I don't have to have all the answers. I am not going to have all the answers, but I can listen to you.
And that, alone.
That alone is huge. And so that's the vision that we want as part of the point behind this book and part behind the point behind the Church Cares initiative that Jim leads is to help the church catch that vision and go, it does not matter what you're structured like. You can have all the different DNA of your church, different streams of the church, and yet you are filled with people who care. And those people right now have felt for years like, okay, if somebody's hurting in my small group, okay, let me refer them to the pastor. The pastor talks to them a couple times, refers them to a counselor, which may still be the need, right? But I can be trained, like I can read a book on listening, or I can do the Church Cares listening training, or it's just an hour, a few hours, right? It's just so that I go, oh, okay, you know what? As I'm listening to this person, my emotions are getting activated, and I need to make sure that I ask this question. And I've learned enough that I can do that, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I don't know what the answers are. Yeah. And you don't need to.
I mean, what percentage, you guys are the pros at this, would you say, maybe there's not an answer, I don't know. What percentage of people that come in and want to talk to somebody or walk up to somebody at the end of a service or want a counselor or a pastor to meet with, what percentage of them really don't need a pastor or a trained professional? They just need a good friend, somebody that will listen and care and maybe walk with them through this journey. Yeah.
I'm gonna answer from the perspective of all the pastors and clinicians I've talked to.
How about it?
So one of the things that there was, for example, this is a pretty average answer. One of the churches we talked to had been one that had built a lay listening program like this. And they said that of the people who came in the door, 80% of them only needed to talk to somebody 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
80%.
80%.
Yeah.
I don't know what you
So
would
not
say.
a trained professional counselor, therapist going to
Just-
recommend drugs and help you. No, it's going to be.
What
There's
would
a-
you say?
Uh,
Because you're the one who gets the,
okay,
the
so
referrals.
so the
You've already got your doctorate. She doesn't have hers yet.
I don't
so
yet. I don't
We're
know.
going to listen to
I don't
you.
know what I'm
she's
doing.
defended
Yeah.
her dissertation, so it's just waiting to mop up the floor. It's all done.
Okay.
Anyway.
Now, less than 10% have serious mental illness.
Less than 10.
Yes. A good 25, 30% have significant life pain, but they're fully functional.
Mm.
This is our triangle in the book.
Yep.
So that gives, that's, let's say 10 and 30, that's 40%. That leaves 60% of us just hurt around challenges. There's no one I've ever met who's gotten a pass and life was easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter your economics. It doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter your intelligence, your life pedigree. Everybody's life is hard. And some people's life has been much more challenging than others.
Yeah.
But nobody skates through unhindered by the challenges that are facing them. Everybody struggles.
No one has evaded the fall of mankind.
Nobody
There you
does.
go.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great way of putting it.
Exactly. That we can share our common depravity and the effects of that common depravity on the way that we've lived our lives.
Yeah.
Now, the Surgeon General put out a study in 2023 called The Epidemic of Isolation and Loneliness, and considers our social isolation emerging in North American, United States culture to be more serious, more detrimental than a 2-pack a day cigarette habit.
Whoa.
In terms of the effects it has on our well-being and our life. And considers it among the most serious health epidemics facing America. Like, we are disconnected.
We need a big billboard that says, come to church, get more healthy.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Because of relationship.
Can you be our marketing director?
Yes,
That was
please,
awesome.
please, yes.
Dave would be much better at that than I would.
Well, isn't it? I mean, when I'm hearing this, and again, I read your book. I mean, here's the title, by the way: When Hurting People Come to Church: How People of Faith Can Help Solve the Mental Health Crisis. Those are strong words.
Yeah.
Help solve.
And it's true.
I mean, I'm hearing you, and even as I read it, I'm thinking you're saying the church is a army
Yes.
that's already formed
Yeah.
that could help solve this if they just knew they could be somewhat equipped, but mostly energized and sent
And not
to say
afraid
you're
of
the
it.
answer.
To see their importance.
And by the way, when I say church, I also say family life. Any ministry
exactly.
that's a community of believers
Yeah.
has within themselves what this crisis needs.
Yeah.
That we have created in 21st century America a mental health culture and language, such that it used to be, oh, you're going to therapy. Now it's a bit of a badge of honor for a middle school kid to say, I got to go see my therapist today.
And they're like, you're not going to therapy?
Yeah, you're not. What's wrong with you?
You should be.
Don't your parents love you? So there's this. That's a tremendous cultural shift.
Which is great.
Great,
really
for us.
good.
Great.
And so now, though, instead of hundreds of thousands of people seeing maybe I should go to therapy, we have millions of people, and it is impossible to train enough clinicians. Nor is it possible to fund, in terms of our healthcare dollars, the work of those clinicians.
And you're saying it's not really totally necessary in
Correct.
what percentage?
Right.
It's not necessary.
60%.
Probably 60% at least.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Of cases.
And you
where
know
it's
what you
just-
earned? Like just by going to church, you've created a friend.
Yeah.
that you're
Yes.
talking
Right.
to. And discipleship.
Yes.
And that is, and by the way, that word, the discipleship word, is the word that I want everyone who is an involved church volunteer, pastor, ministry leader to really hone in on, because in the survey, we saw a very telling thing, because the survey was anonymous, right? Like people could be very honest. And there were so many pastors who said explicitly, my job as a pastor is not to handle mental health issues. That's for a professional. My job is discipleship.
To make disciples.
And evangelism. And I'm like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It is when you, as a Bonnie or a Bob, you come alongside the person in need and you say, I'm so sorry about that trauma from your childhood. I had that same thing. I'll walk with you. We'll, whatever, and get you into a small group. And hey, there's the women's Bible study, and there's some friends there that you need to get to know. That's discipleship. That's evangelism.
Yeah.
I love what one of your colleagues had said, that this is the discipleship. How did they put it?
Evangelism and discipleship method of the 21st century.
Yeah.
Because that's the language people speak.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
so, like, if you want to think, Billy Graham mastered technology, the mass media of his era coming out of World War II and the formation of television, and took advantage of that. In our era, people speak therapy. That's the language that they speak, and it's the communication medium that everybody can resonate with.
What do you mean?
Have you watched TikTok lately?
Yeah.
What's that called? Tick what?
For better or for worse, there is a priority of the self, and the care / importance of me first. And so that makes people prompted to attend to
How am I feeling?
me. How am I
What
feeling?
am I
What's going on?
What's going
et cetera.
Well, it makes me think. Go ahead.
And just that is a powerful fast lane to like, I need to talk to I need help. Where's he going to go? Yeah, go ahead.
It reminds me of Dennis Rainey, of how he has said for years that a good marriage is the best evangelistic tool that we have.
For sure.
But now I'm hearing this, I'm thinking therapy and mental health is the new evangelistic tool.
Yeah.
Because people are hurting so desperately that
Yeah.
they're looking for answers
And that
help.
includes marriage
Right.
issues, right? It
Exactly.
includes everything,
Yes.
everything under the sun.
And so we could almost leverage the need, the felt need of the
Right.
world, and saying, this is the place that you can come and have that. It's Jesus, basically, and relationships and discipleship.
That's that little church I drove by. Family council here.
Yeah.
Available. Like,
And
Go ahead.
we have to reckon, and the thing that I think those of us in the body of Christ have to reckon with is that, oh, wait, that's me. That's me. Oh, like it's not those other people, because I have felt for so long of like, oh my gosh, somebody's hurting. Let me find somebody to help you.
I'm the helper.
Oops, I'm the helper. And it's what we have to reckon with. It's like, we are the church. There's not another person. There may be a clinician who's needed for many of these things, but regardless, I'm needed.
All right, let me just say this. We know life is full of challenges, and families today need biblical truth more than ever. Isn't that true?
Oh, that's definitely true.
And as a Family Life partner, your monthly gift helps bring the truth into homes every single day through podcasts, events, and resources.
So let's make a lasting difference together. Seriously, together we can make a difference. Become a partner today. Just go to FamilyLifeToday.com and click the donate button. Okay, let's get back to the conversation. Why haven't we gotten this in the church? Because are you familiar with Larry Crabb?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah.
Beautiful, wonderful.
I remember, Silence of Adam, different books that he wrote back when I was just coming out of college. So late 70s, early 80s probably. Sorry to date myself. But his sort of passion was the church is full of lay counselors. You can do this. He wrote a book called Biblical Counseling or something. It's like, you don't need a therapist. You, the church, can do most of the work we need done. Here we are 40, 50 years later, and it's still not really happening yet.
And I think it's gotten worse
Me
to
too.
some
Yeah,
degree.
I do
And
too.
one big difference in culture that Larry was writing in his era was a high resistance to the idea of I have need.
Yeah,
Mm.
right.
Now,
Yeah.
now we've kind of broken through
Yeah,
that
we
in terms
have.
of a cultural expectation.
Yeah.
And now everybody recognizes there is a need.
Yeah. Especially,
and there's less stigma.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
one
the
of the
stigma pieces are gone.
and that's one of the things that I was curious
Mhm.
about. Like, I'm sorry, I'm being a nerd and looking up our actual data. But 70% of pastors said that there's no stigma in their church today around mental health.
I agree.
And about 20% were
Yeah.
sort of on the fence of that, but 70% just point blank disagreed.
Yeah.
And only 11% thought the stigma was
Yeah.
still high.
Think about what the culture has said in the past, say, 30 years since Larry Crabb. Think about the 3 most popular comedy series. The Seinfeld Show,
I was going to say Seinfeld.
Yes.
Right.
Cheers,
Okay.
and
Friends. And guess what they're doing?
All
I know where
3
you're
of them
going.
have completely different storylines, completely different context. But everybody wishes to be Norm walking into a bar and saying, Norm. And I haven't been in too many bars, but I've been in a few, and I have never felt welcomed like Norm is welcomed.
Mm.
Everybody wants to be welcome. Everybody wants to be Kramer, who can just slide into Jerry's apartment without knocking. Like, this is not my home, but this is my home. I belong here.
And if you think about what they talked about at that bar or in
Yeah.
Jerry's apartment, they helped each other.
Yeah.
They talked
Yeah.
about life issues and problems.
Yeah.
And they had a friend to bounce them
Yeah.
off of.
And we do that in the church. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't want pastors to hear us bashing you. No, like, I'm so grateful for the work of the pastors, building that community, building that body of Christ in their church. It's just the church, us, not just the pastor, we have gotten more and more and more of this idea that that part of things is not our job, that we have to, in order to not do damage. I would be doing the wrong thing if I walked alongside somebody who had these issues. And that the right thing is always to refer out. And what we're saying is absolutely sometimes the right thing is to refer out. Like your lady who said, by the time you read this, I'll be gone.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
like,
not
call the
good.
police,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's
She needs to be
And you should.
hospitalized.
she needs to be hospitalized. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And yet, what happens to her husband
Mm.
while she's hospitalized? He
Mhm.
needs somebody to walk alongside. When she
Yeah.
comes out of the hospital, it's not just, can I bring you a casserole? It's, can I bring you a casserole and just, how are you
Mhm.
doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And being okay that you don't have all the answers. And being okay that you're just listening and you're being a friend. And that's fine, that you
Yeah.
don't need to have the training.
Yeah.
That you can just be that listening ear.
I love and how you mentioned the power of a really good marriage.
Mm.
I love sitting with the angriest couples you can imagine.
You love it.
Oh, give me that.
That's
folk.
that
Give
is
me,
his
give me those
gifting.
people.
That is his
Like,
gifting.
People who don't throw chairs, but who wish they could.
Yeah.
And you can tell my personality. It's not exactly I'm not a dominator, but I love those people that are just anger out folks, or they're
You're-
hopeless, or like
Wow.
we've tried everything and we can't do it.
These are your favorites.
These are my favorites. Please send me those. As a
I've got a
professional
few.
psychologist,
Okay.
like, yeah, I should see those folks.
Yeah.
because you're
please,
skilled at
because
that.
I know
You're
how to
trained
I
at
know how to
that.
work with them.
Yeah.
But I often ask all of my couples, how many good marriages do you know?
Hmm.
Who's in your life that is good at this, that you can have dinner with like once a quarter? Just like, and usually probably the mean answer is 0.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
nobody, like they can't find
Yeah.
they can't find the non-formal relational, like we have friends that are doing it well, and we can copy them.
And you're kind of like, no wonder you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because you don't have those
no
people.
one.
Yeah, it's like there's no vision even for
example.
what a healthy relationship looks like, because everyone they look at is bent. And so, well, gee, we're just as bent as they are.
There's no hope.
Yeah, exactly.
And so having especially the community of the church,
Mhm.
where statistically, truly the church is filled with people with good marriages. I know that
Right.
sounds funny because we've heard the opposite. It's
It's
true.
true.
Yeah, there are plenty of people in the church, not with perfect marriages,
Right.
Yeah.
but with good marriages
Yeah.
who could
That-
just befriend another couple and walk alongside.
Yeah, that makes them a good marriage because they're not perfect.
Yeah, good point.
And-
Yes.
And that mentor capacity of being able to be with people, be with someone who is not depressed to the degree that they can't get out of bed, but have been touched by melancholy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or they know what it's like to carry fear like in their stomach all day long, and yet they still have hope. They still are graciously dependent on Jesus to guide their life and provide for everything that is in front of them.
I'm thinking of our incredible listeners who love Jesus, but
Yeah.
also may feel like, my kids are gone. I feel like there's not much
Oh, yeah.
purpose. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm like, this is for you.
This is totally for you.
Even if you just are married and you guys are struggling along, like, man, I wish we could have more of an impact. This is for you.
But
But just even have a dinner. Invite somebody to dinner.
yeah, and I was just going to say, but on their behalf, they're thinking probably this, but I don't know how. I don't know
Yeah.
what
I
to
don't know
do.
how.
Right.
I do need some training, don't I?
Yeah.
Are you saying just be
This
a
is
friend?
why we wrote the book.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and built out the Church Cares Initiative,
Exactly.
which is like, here are the videos, here's the manual, here's
There's the kit
steps
for every church.
The kit that has all the resources. Here's the attorney that wrote the how not to get sued as a church.
Good.
Seriously,
and-
no,
Yeah.
all of the
That's
above.
a big deal. That's
Absolutely.
one of the reasons as
Yeah.
a pastor, I would often refer,
Yeah.
because
you're
I have
afraid.
that fear in the back of my mind.
Right.
I'm not particularly skilled with the crisis trauma situation. If I handle this wrong,
Okay, here's a little bit of free consulting for all the pastors out there.
It's not free. She's going to send you a bill.
No, because one of the things that our legal experts said, which was really helpful, is, and this is something that a lot of pastors haven't even thought of, is that if you put in the bylaws of the church that we are a place that does care, and this is part of religious discipleship, not therapy, and everybody participates voluntarily. And that's important.
Yeah.
Like for people, if you're going to do like an official
Yeah.
lay counseling thing or something,
Yeah.
everybody needs to say, yeah, like sign absolutely, I'm doing this voluntarily.
Mm.
Then it, of course, in today's environment, it doesn't prevent somebody bringing a lawsuit, whatever, but those are very rare. And that usually not usually, it really should protect the church. And a lot of pastors just don't know. Add a line or two to your bylaws. Like that's it.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
do your job.
Yeah.
And your job is to care for people who are hurt.
Mm.
And recognize in appropriate context, we will refer out to medical, we will refer out to licensed professional clinicians. But even with those that we refer out to, we are still responsible for the care of the community that this church exists in. That's why churches have a not-for-profit status and exist in the community to render care to everyone who's there.
Yeah.
And you have all the material available for churches
We
to
do.
do this.
Mhm.
We've spent the last couple of years not just talking to churches, but also what do they need? And so literally, like if you're listening to this and you are the Bonnie or the Bob, like you're like, I feel like I'm the person everybody always comes to, like I could start something like this at the church. God bless you. Don't put it on the pastor. Go to the pastor and say, I want to help you.
Yeah.
Right? Like not,
We
hey,
love
pastor,
that.
you need to
Yeah.
do this.
Yes.
But I want to do this. Get the kit. It tells you everything that you need to do. And
Yeah.
then you adapt it
Yeah.
for your church, your
Yeah.
mission, your DNA,
Yeah.
your style.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me just add this. You can go to familylifetoday.com right now show notes. Click on the link. We'll have the kit there that you can buy.
It's not
And
buy,
free.
it's free.
It's free.
It's free. You
It's
can
free.
get it for free.
Yeah.
You just tripled the number of people who are going to do that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say to our guides, Family Life has guides, thousands of them all around the world.
Yeah.
Been to a weekend, remember, gone through our Family Life resource. And they're like, I feel like God wants to use my marriage to help
There you
other
go.
marriages.
We want them
To
to.
impact
Here's-
every corner of the world.
Here's some help.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, you know, as I hear you talk, two thoughts. One is a lot of us in church world, I'm not talking pastors, people attend
Lay
church,
people.
know we're supposed to disciple others.
Yeah.
I mean, if your pastor, your church is doing anything right, we do this Family Life all the time. We're called to the Great Commission. Disciples make multiplying disciples. So I think there's a sense that I'm supposed to do that. I think they get stuck with, but I'm not very good and I'm not sure how. This gives another lane to think about it.
Yes.
Like, so I can be a friend, or maybe it's my marriage God wants me to use. That's the tool that God wants to use in my life to make disciples, thinking somebody raises an issue that there's a red flag, like, oh, they're hurting. By the way, everybody is, but you sense it, and I'm the one that heard that. Oh, so God wants us to step into this as a friendship, and I'm making a disciple. Right?
Yes. And to not be afraid of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I spent so many years being afraid of counseling, right? Like it just, because I don't know what I'm doing. Like it's why I always say, you know, I have my team, like when people call, does Shaunti do counseling? No. But is Shaunti called to be a friend to somebody who is in pain? Yes.
And
We
to
all
pray
are.
for them.
And to pray
Yes.
for them. And, you know, and just, can we have coffee every now and then? And yes, all of us are.
Is there a sense, though? This is the other side of the devil's advocate in my mind that a lot of the church doesn't really care.
Ooh, great question.
I mean,
It's a
I
great
think we
question.
do, but sometimes I think, at least the
Or
unchurched
we don't
world,
have time.
feels like we say we care, but when somebody comes with a need, that me first attitude's still in us, and we're like, yeah, but I want to take care of me, and I don't really have time because this is going to take time, and it could go farther than I think, and I'm just going to either pass it on or not get involved. Is there some of that happening as well?
Absolutely. It is inconvenient to care for everybody, care for anybody. Like our kids took a lot out of us as we raised them. It was not easy.
Yeah.
And caring for other people is really demanding attention, and you get exhausted.
Yeah.
But it's a calling.
It's a calling
and a command.
and if you do it in small chunks, so you're not responsible to care for 200 people.
That's good.
How about 2? How about the person who just happens to be placed in your life, and you integrate other people into the care, so it's not just you carrying.
You bring them into your group.
Yes. So it's a community.
I'll give you an example of this. Okay. So because one, and I should say, by the way, just to make sure we say this out loud, one of the reasons people are like, you know, is because our churches don't have a structure for it, right? Like if we had a structure where there were people who were lay listeners that were a little bit, you know, gone through just a teeny bit of listening training, and, you know, like there's great ministries like Stephen Ministry, which is fantastic, but that's a whole nother level. That's 50 hours of training, right? And so some people are called to that, absolutely. But if our churches were to have like that basic structure, it wouldn't seem so overwhelming, because there would be many people that that could take on the person who's at the altar crying and who needs somebody to listen. But what everybody can do, whether or not they're trained, is what you just said. And by the way, I just have to say this as a mom, and I'm sure you're thinking the same thing. Please, if you are in that phase where you aren't even thinking straight because you're not getting enough sleep, we are not putting more on you. Like you have 3 little kids, you do not, you're getting 4 hours of sleep a night. We're not trying to say you need to do one more thing.
And hopefully someone will invite
and
you over.
Exactly. Those are the ones, I was just going to say that. Those are the ones who need it.
Yeah.
But that mom who's exhausted, it is possible. Keep an eye out, because it may be that the woman you sit next to at the playground who starts talking about her difficult marriage, it just may be that that
Yeah.
speaking to her for 10 or 15 minutes breathes life into her, and you wouldn't have sort of noticed that otherwise. So
Yeah.
it's more be aware
Yeah.
of this.
With that idea, we are not looking to train lay counselors. We're looking to train Christians so that it's not the people who feel called to this new ministry, like the
Although that's some of it.
yeah,
That may be some of it.
some will
Yeah.
be. I have the vision of everybody that has interaction with anybody in the church needs to know how to sit with somebody else in pain. So like if you are a preschool Sunday school teacher, you need this because there's going to be that mom who's coming either dropping off or picking up and will look completely frazzled. And just to be able to say, let Monica watch your daughter for a few minutes. Would you like to talk? And anybody in the church, the person that opens their front door or serves in the coffee bar is always interacting and always in the position of, I know what to do when someone shows up and it's clear that someone needs to listen to them. And versus like, enjoy this cup of coffee, have a good day. And rather, no, they need to enjoy relationship with Jesus in ways that are human and not caffeinated.
Right.
They're actual
flesh on flesh.
You are here
human.
in this church, and God's put me in presence with you right now.
Yeah, one of the things Ann and I teach in Vertical Marriage, the last session, because the same thing happens at a weekend. Remember, you come thinking I want a better marriage.
Yeah.
You leave realizing, it's like the woman at the well. I came for water. I left with living water.
Yeah.
I come to get a better marriage, and hopefully God meets you there. But then we send them out in the last session saying, he didn't want to just fix your marriage. He wants to use your marriage to fix others. So now we call it make an impact on your corner of the world. I was in seminary when I first studied Matthew 5:14, which we all know, you are the light of the world. Right? Jesus, you're the salt, you're the light. Let me read you something that I think is mind-boggling and applies to everything you're saying. I pulled it up right here.
Good.
He says, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. I'm guessing you've heard this verse many times, and our listeners, viewers could. And he says, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Seminary. I'm studying this in the Greek because I'm learning Greek. I'm not a doctorate like you guys, but I have a master's, right? And I realized that the phrase, a city set on a hill cannot be hidden, literally would read, a city strategically placed on a hill cannot be hidden. So then I'm like, okay, that's pretty unique phrasing. And so I'm diving into this, reading commentaries and studying, and basically realized when he said that to the disciples and the multitude, but really the disciples, they understood what he meant. We don't. He meant they don't just throw cities up around these villages and valleys here randomly. They strategically place them where people in the valley in the darkness have light, and they need light here, and they need light here. So he's saying, you understand this. We don't understand it. We just think it's a cute phrase. He's saying city planners, just like they do today, strategically place cities in strategic areas so people in the dark can find light. You are like a city on a hill. And so the implication is Jesus is saying God will strategically place you and me as light around people in darkness.
Thank you for sharing that.
That
blows my mind.
That changes everything. So I came up with this phrase, make a dent where you're sent. And people started coming to me at my church because it became this thing that Wilson would say, make a dent where you're sent. And they'd be like, we know where you're sent. You're a pastor. You're a preacher. You get up. You have a calling. Where am I sent? So I'm like, I got to come up with this profound statement. Here it is. This is profound. You ready? Make a dent where you're sent. You are sent where you are. It's not profound. It's like the dumbest thing ever, but is it true?
It's true.
You're strategically placed. So what you're saying is every guide in family life, every Christian in the world, in a sense, every day. And again, I'm not saying we don't make decisions to get in this Uber or get on this plane. We do. We have free will, but God is saying, you're my light.
Yeah.
This person you just had a coffee with or walked up to you at the end of the service or sat beside you at church and said something about their pain
Mhm.
You're my strategic light, shine.
Yeah.
Be a friend,
so
invite them
good.
over for a coffee. This is what you're saying. If the church
Yeah.
understood that, I don't think there'd be enough room in churches because people be running to our
Yeah.
churches because they're like that sign said, you can help my marriage. You can help me in my pain.
Yes.
I'm going to that place.
And
Those
I like
people
what
get
you're
it.
saying too. You're not saying you have to, drop the big theology. You're saying, you know what
Just
they
be a
need?
friend.
They just need to listen, to have someone listen to them.
Yeah.
Just listen to them.
And by the way, one of the things that I loved when I saw this number come in on the survey. Sorry, I have to. I'm going back to the numbers.
I love it.
But it really, it almost made me tear up. Is even though the pastors said, I don't feel qualified, right? Like I feel like I'm supposed to refer out. 96% of the pastors agreed with the statement that the best possible way to instill great mental health in the church, mental and emotional health, is a community of believers supporting one another.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
what the church is supposed to do.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
And I think it's the Acts 2 church.
Yeah.
That's what it was. They had everything in common. They shared meals together.
Yeah.
It was the model of here it is. They didn't even need a building.
Yeah.
It's the community.
You guys,
Jeez, I hope this thing blows
that's
up.
what I was going to say.
We're praying for the church to catch the vision.
Mm,
We're praying
Yeah.
for the body of Christ to catch
Yeah.
the vision, right? Each
Right.
of us, right?
yeah.
So-
I think it'd be like Shaunti, talk to the listeners specifically when they go to church this week, or you, Jim. Like,
Yeah.
how does that change their view as they walk into
Yeah.
the
Actually,
building?
don't just talk to the church. Talk to Family Life guides
Yeah.
Yeah.
who are listening right now.
I recognize in writing this book, God, you're telling me this is not right what I do. I fly in to church on Sunday morning, usually late.
I don't know what you're
Yeah, I
talking
see
about.
you
What are
walk
you
in. I'm
talking
up there
about? No, I
preaching
don't
and
know
you
what that
finally
looks
show
like.
up.
No.
And I'm looking at my watch and I fast to my car because it's 15 minutes of sitting in the parking lot
Yeah.
unless you're first to your car. So it's
We see you
it's-
guys walking
it's
out
that-
early.
It's that race to your car, like this is the start of a Formula One race. And like, wait a minute. There's 1,500 people that go to my church. They're all here.
Hmm.
And I'm zipping in and zipping out just on Sunday. And I did not meet a single soul. And there are people all around Heather and I sitting up on our little perch spot. And I don't know their names. And I've sat with them up in this area of the church for years. We recognize that's your row,
Yeah.
but we've never interacted, and I don't know what their hurt is, and like, okay, that's twisted, warped, and really, really bad.
Just to put it plainly.
Yeah, and like, oh, look, when hurting people come to church, and I'm looking at 1,500 people, and we all are. And to shift the idea from the worship experience is the pastor and the music. Yes, and the worship experience is someone caring for you and someone allowing someone actually to care for me.
Yeah.
But we're not even
Yeah.
thinking about that.
It's one of the reasons why getting to know others in the
Yeah.
church and building what you
Yeah.
can of a community
Yeah.
around you is
Yeah.
so powerful
Right.
because it allows you to say things like, well, come to our small group, right? Like if you don't have a small group, you can't say that, right? Like come to our small group. Hey, the moms group meets on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Come to our moms group. Like build those opportunities and be a part of them. And I'm sure, by the way, that I am preaching to the choir
Yeah.
because I know the Family Life listeners and you all get this.
Yeah.
You all are these people. So we're hoping you will
Yeah.
take the next step, which is how can we build a system in the church if it doesn't have one?
Yeah. And even you asked the question, and I appreciate so much. Like, what can they do? Show up 10 minutes early on Sunday. That person that you've just observed and you've watched them from a distance, they're sitting in that chair over there. Like, sit down and say, hi, I'm Jim.
I will add this too, Jim. Our son, who is also a preacher, one of them is, and he uses the term, put on your God goggles
Yeah.
so you can see
it.
people the way God sees them.
Yeah.
What would that
Oh,
look
that's
like
good.
even as a family? Hey,
Yeah.
hey, we're going in here. Let's put on our God goggles. Lord, will you show
Yeah.
us and help us to love people and see people the way you do?
Yeah.
It's just that
Mm.
intentional little bit like, oop, we're
Yeah.
going in to love and see and serve.
Yeah.
You know, as easy as that. And to get your kids to start looking for that.
Yeah.
How can I just listen to you? Can I pray for you? Can I laugh with you?
Very good.
Yeah, and I'm even thinking, again, I go back to the Family Life guides, who often I think they do the same thing church people do. Is like, oh, you need to meet with the pastor, whether it's, the speaker at the Weekend Remember or Dave and Ann, the host, whatever it is, they think it's that. And it's like, no, the mind shift needs to be, I'm the pastor.
Yeah.
I'm the light. There are lights too, but I'm the light. And, in a ministry like this, like we have all these tools. Just use one. Invite people over to your house. Hey, we're going to go through Love Like You Mean It. We're going to go through Vertical Marriage. We're going to go through the New Art of Marriage. I'm telling you, most of us underestimate this. If you invited somebody to your house, a neighbor who never goes to church, to say, you want some marriage help? You want a better marriage? We've got a tool.
Like we're struggling, but maybe you are too.
And you can even say, hey, I'm going to tell you it's faith-based, so I'm not going to hide anything. It's faith-based, but if you want a better marriage, I can almost guarantee you this will help. I'll bet you they'd show up. And next thing you know, it's like, God's using me?
Yeah.
All I did is put a tool in my hand and I used it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, I literally could change the world.
Yeah. You don't invite them to church.
Yeah.
You invite them to coffee.
Yeah.
You guys, this is really good. Thank you for putting the time, energy, everything into it because it's needed. It's really needed.
Yeah. And I like I said, I hope this blows up.
Me too. Around the world.
Yeah.
And it's free. FamilyLifeToday.com. Show notes. Click the link. It's free. You can literally be the light in your neighborhood that could literally change somebody's eternity. Literally. I'm not using that word wrong. It's true.
No, it's true.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for watching. And if you like this episode,
You better like it.
just hit that like button.
And we'd like you to subscribe. So all you got to do is go down and hit the subscribe. I can't say the word subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. I don't think I can say this word.
Like and subscribe.
Look at that. You say it so easy. Subscribe. There it goes.